If you're looking to go fully electric and want to avoid buying a Tesla, the Volkswagen ID.4 was one of the really early choices when it first came to market back in 2021. Now, as a maker of the people's car, the electric people's SUV certainly had some impressive stats to it when it first came out about 4 years ago, up to 250 miles of range and nearly 300 horsepower from its dual electric motors if you guys wanted the all-wheel drive variant. Now for 2024, in order to keep pace with all of its newer competitors, VW has given the ID.4 a pretty significant overhaul underneath the sheet metal. As you can see, it looks pretty much the same this year, but underneath we have a brand new rear electric motor which got a significant power upgrade. We have an updated battery pack that gives you more range as well, and we have a brand new infotainment system that seriously addresses the big software concern that we had in the earlier versions of the ID.4. So as you can see, this week, VW has loaned us this Pro S version with the new rear-wheel drive powertrain with that new electric motor. And the big question I want answered, for those of you who are looking to go fully electric and you refuse to buy, again, something like a Tesla, how does the latest version of the ID.4 stack up? Stay tuned to find out. Now, before we start talking about the exterior styling of this 2024 ID.4, let me go ahead and pop the hood and remind you guys what's powering this thing. Now, this model that I'm showing you here is the rear drive variant, which means there obviously is no frunk, just like on the pre-refresh version, but we do have a brand new rear electric motor that VW calls AP550 internally. Now, obviously, with this model being the rear drive variant, there is no separate front electric motor, which typically adds an extra 107 horsepower. But since we're underneath here, let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain specs. Like I said earlier, all ID.4 Pro models utilize the company's 82 kilowatt hour battery pack with updated battery chemistry. 77 kilowatts is usable. If you guys don't have an ID.4 with the Pro badge, you're gonna have the older and smaller 58 kilowatt hour battery pack. That also means you have the less powerful 201 horsepower motor. With this powertrain, you get up to 282 horsepower and 402 pound-feet of torque. That's an 81 horsepower increase versus the pre-refresh version when you had the base rear-wheel drive powertrain. If you guys want all-wheel drive, it ramps up the power to 335 horsepower and over 500 foot-pounds of torque, although Volkswagen doesn't officially quote that. That's the torque that you get if you add the rear and the front electric motor's torque output. It all goes out through a one-speed reduction gear transmission, and this model that I'm showing you here, like I said earlier, is rear-wheel drive. You can go up to 291 miles of range on a full charge. VW quotes the 0 to 60 time of this model at 5.8 seconds. It should have a top speed of around 112 miles an hour. This model will also tow a maximum of 2,200 pounds, and as this car sits, it weighs in at around 4,600 pounds. All-wheel drive will increase the curb weight by about 200 pounds because of that extra electric motor at the front axle. But closing the hood as I continue to get rained on, let's go ahead and talk about briefly the exterior styling, which, as you can see, the ID.4 didn't really get any changes this year. When this car first came out, I found the styling to be inoffensive, but also not super attractive as well. You can see this Pro S model that I'm showing you has the upgraded IQ Light full LED headlights. These are adaptive LED headlights with their projector style low and high beams. You can see there's an LED turn signal, LED daytime running light. There's a nice little LED light bar that flows beautifully into the illuminated Volkswagen logo. I love that feature. It's also on the rear. It definitely gives this car a distinctive light signature at night. You can see the front end also has some functional air intake openings, of course, but the grille obviously is just there for looks. There's no actual intake for the grille because it's a fully electric vehicle. But overall, in this silver exterior color, it certainly is inoffensive, but also a little bit blobby. If you guys want a more sexy looking electric vehicle, obviously take a look at something like the Hyundai Ioniq 5. It is more attractive looking, the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Kia EV6, for example. Moving around the side profile, you can see Volkswagen makes an ID.5 in other markets where it has a more swept back coupe styling profile. Not here, not in the US, as you can see, with its 108.7-inch wheelbase and 180.5-inch overall length. This is a little bit smaller than Volkswagen's own Tiguan, but it's a good size for a compact SUV. You can see these are the 20-inch wheels that you get with the Pro S model. They're wrapped in an all-season Pirelli tire. You have a 235/50 R20 in the front, 13.4-inch rotor, front rotor behind it. The rear actually still uses a drum brake, but it uses a 260 or 255 width tire. So staggered wheel setup, all independent suspension, around 6 inches of ground clearance. You can see wheel arch trim there is unpainted. There's a Pro S badge here. Mirrors are power folding, or I'm sorry, not power folding, but you do have integrated turn signals, and If you guys go for the upper trims, you'll get a full 360 camera, but not on this trim here. The panoramic sunroof, as you can see, is included, but it doesn't actually open up to vent air. No chrome along the side of the vehicle, and you can see the rest of the profile. It looks pretty much the same. I'm not gonna go too much into detail with it. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys like the styling of this vehicle, but I really wish that VW would offer like a sport trim version like a GTX, which they do offer in other markets. You can see the rear taillight has that signature full LED light bar with the LED turn signals, LED brake light, reverse lights, the illuminated red Volkswagen logo, which I love. And then down here you can see the rear bumper is mostly unpainted with integrated turn signals, or I'm sorry, integrated parking sensors. And then looking at the cargo area, the ID.4 pretty much is unchanged here. You have around 30 cubic feet of total storage space. I like how this area here is unpainted because this is good if you guys constantly lift items into the trunk area here. You don't have to worry about this getting scratched up if it was painted. You can see underneath the floor here, you can see there's a good size underfloor storage. There's actually a deeper storage here, so it's like 2 levels of storage, which I think is really clever. This floor, you can also kind of lower the floor if you want to actually lower the actual load floor itself. You have some storage to the side. Fold down that second row seat. There's no third row, obviously. You expand the cargo to around 64 cubic feet of space. 64 is usable. It's around the average numbers for the class, but some competitors, which are larger, will offer a little bit more cargo space if you guys prefer that. So on the outside, Volkswagen clearly didn't make any exterior styling changes, but what about the interior? This is where, again, the company did make some upgrades, especially on the software part. Before we get inside, let me show you guys the key fob. This is the intelligent access key that Volkswagen has on most of their new models. It's definitely a nice looking key. I like the piano black finish with the chrome. It's a nice size. It feels nice and hefty as well. It has your usual buttons here for lock, power open for the trunk, unlock, and then a panic feature as well. No remote start from the fob, but you can do that from your smartphone if you have access to the Volkswagen Connected Car Services app. You can see the door handle here. It looks like a pull style door handle, but there's actually a little button on the back. If you push that little button, that's what opens the door for you. This car does offer a walkaway lock and unlock feature, which you can turn on and off, which is definitely really appreciated. As I open the door, you can see my test car with the silver exterior color has the Galaxy black leatherette interior. This is a faux vegan leather material. There's also a cosmic interior if you guys want a light gray. You can see this is a combination of black and like a darker gray two-tone with the contrast stitching, the ID badge here. These seats are also heated and ventilated, and they offer a massage that's included on the Pro S trim. And these seats offer a 2-person memory with 12-way power adjustments. Now it's starting to rain, so let me go ahead and hop inside the interior here. You can see once you're inside here, the interior looks pretty similar to the pre-refresh model, but you can see door panel materials here is soft touch injection molded plastic, leather over here, piano black plastic, but I don't love the piano black here because I noticed, I rest my hand here a lot, this gets covered in fingerprints and smudges and it just looks like crap after literally a day of usage. The window controls, they are one touch up down for all 4, and as you can see, there's only 2 window switches, so if you want to actually access the rear window switches, you have to actually push the rear button there, or you can kind of push and hold that, and once it's blinking, you can actually access and move all 4 windows up and down. So annoying cost-cutting measure here, but it does work once you kind of get used to it. You have a silver painted plastic door handle here, mirror controls, no power folding mirrors, but they are heated, as you can see. But overall, looking at the rest of this cabin, to start the vehicle up, you guys saw I basically just put my foot on the brake when I'm sitting in here. That turns the vehicle on. There is also a start-stop button here, but that's redundant. You don't really need to use that because once you sit inside the vehicle and put your foot on the brake, that actually turns everything on. Now, as you can see, in terms of the rest of the materials here, you have a soft touch injection molded plastic with the contrast stitching, silver painted plastic here. And then if you guys go for the Pro models, you'll have the new 12.9-inch infotainment display with their latest software. You can see this is essentially the brand new infotainment system, which we will also see in the ID.buzz. It's in the ID.7 as well, although Volkswagen does make a larger 15-inch screen version. This is the smaller 12.9 with the 5-inch helper screen here in the instrument panel, which does give you the ability to move the seat up the steering wheel in a tilt and telescoping manner, and that gauge pod moves with the actual steering wheel. It offers a good amount of adjustability and range. You can see the steering wheel has those annoying touch sensitive controls. It does have a heated steering wheel, which you can see there are 3 levels of heated steering wheel function. These touch-sensitive controls are a little annoying. You can also slightly customize the way that looks there. If you want to change the way that looks, you can also kind of move it to the side and adjust the way the instrument panel looks over here. The horn it sounds really puny and pathetic. So don't love the way the horn sounds in the ID.4. That's something that I would change out personally if this was my vehicle. And then as you can see here, coming to the infotainment display, this has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It also has completely redesigned software within the native system. As you can see, tap that goes to the home display with the embedded GPS. As you can see, the GPS function also has route planning. If you guys want to, put in your destination here, it'll route you to chargers along the way. It'll tell you how long you need to charge for. That's something that, again, Tesla has done for years. It's great to see Volkswagen has finally added that feature. Going here, you can see these are some shortcut items that you can actually customize and add up to 6 of them. As you can see, I've added these. You can go to your drive mode selector here, or you can also go to drive mode selector over there, your assist functionality. There's 4 different drive modes, a custom setting as well. Push that little area here that brings up all your usual widgets. You can adjust the ambient lighting, of course. There's multiple levels and colors of ambient lighting in this vehicle that also changes the color here on the screen, which looks pretty cool. Go to your climate setting here. You can see that's where you can adjust and turn on your air ionizer. You can go to a smart climate feature. You can also talk to the vehicle via ID. When you say things like hello ID, it'll actually will hear that, and you can actually adjust it, although surprisingly, it didn't hear me there. I also love the fact that VW has adjusted some things here. So as you can see, if I tap that, it now finally gives me direct access to the heated seat functionality and the cooled seat functionality. Before, you had to tap it and then it would bring up a sub menu, and there was another layer that you had to get through. Now, as you can see, VW just gave us quick access there. These controls also for the volume control, those are now illuminated. Same thing for the temperature control, those are illuminated. So that was a criticism of the early ID.4s that VW has seriously addressed, which I appreciate. You have traditional vents, as you can see here, which is nice. You have the ambient LED light strip along the side here and along the door panel, which you can customize, which is good. The lower material here is a hard touch injection molded plastic. You also have brand new controls here for the windshield wipers. They are rain sensing along with the rear wiper right here. This has a pretty high quality feel to the stock as well. There's a brand new shifter, as you can see. It's a slightly different look versus the pre-refresh model. Kick it back, as you can see, there's your backup camera with parking sensors and trajectory and rear cross traffic alert, but no top-down 360 camera. I'm surprised my test car is actually missing that. Push it forward to go into drive, push the end of the stock there to go into park. Relatively easy to use, as you can see when I put it in park. This is how the vehicle will shut off. I basically put it in park, get out, it'll shut the vehicle off automatically. Put my foot on the brake, that turns it back on again. So that's all pretty similar to what Tesla does, but it's good to see VW is kind of, making this thing very futuristic and relatively easy to use. You can see, for the most part, when I lived with this system for a week, it was pretty quick and snappy, and it was also quick to connect to my phone. Sadly, I'm using my phone, so I can't show you what the CarPlay looks like, but the CarPlay does take up the entire screen. This has over-the-air updates as well. And this infotainment system is definitely among the better systems in the business now, so it's great to see VW has listened to a lot of the criticism, and this is definitely a huge upgrade versus the pre-refreshed model. Now down here you can see there are some piano black plastic trim, cup holders as well, your wireless phone charging pad, 2 USB-C charging ports. I don't particularly love all the piano black here. This is an area where it's going to show smudges and scratches and fingerprints. Annoyingly, you can see there's a padded center console here. Open this up. It's deep. It fits all of my camera equipment in there. And it also is a great place to hide some items. These seats are also very comfortable and supportive. For a fake leather, they feel really high quality. The padding is also nice and soft. They just don't really hug you in place, but the heat and cooled functionality works well. And you have 12-volt power seats for both seats, and you also have a massage function in these seats. But the massage, I will say, only basically inflates and deflates the lumbar here, which I find to be incredibly annoying, so I wouldn't even use the massage for myself. The glove compartment, you can see, is big. It's damped, but not lined with felt. It offers a good amount of storage. The audio system in this vehicle, this is just the standard Volkswagen audio system. It sounds okay. VW, I believe, got rid of the upgraded audio system, if I remember correctly, but the standard one that I have here in this model isn't really anything super special. But overall, the interior, aside from the brand new infotainment system, stays pretty much the same. Build quality is solid. Visibility is good. Seats are really comfortable. So I think most people are going to be pretty happy with the interior updates that VW's made for the new ID.4. But let's go ahead and hop into the rear seat area as I continue to get rained on. This vehicle does have a pretty generous amount of space. You can see back seat legroom is just under 38 inches of legroom, which is near the high portion of the segment. You can see I can fold the seat down to create almost a flat load floor. These seats sadly don't recline. They're essentially fixed into position. Door panel material quality here you can see is hard touch plastic with the leather here and piano black as well. As I get in back here, you can see Material quality, or I'm sorry, legroom space is really good. Completely flat floor, which I love. It's going to be good for the middle passenger. You have little storage cubbies here for smartphones, for additional items down here on the passenger side as well. You have rear seat air vents, no rear seat climate, but you do have 2 USB-C charging ports. Surprisingly, no power outlet, no 12-volt power outlet, or I'm sorry, 120-volt power outlet over here. You'll find that in some competitors. Fold this down, you can see there's an armrest. It gives you 2 cup holders. You can also, looks like, fold this little area down to create a ski pass-through, which is kind of a nice addition. And then in terms of the headroom space, you can see with this glass roof, it lets in a lot of light, but I will say that at 5'7", my head gets pretty close to the ceiling here, so there's not much in terms of headroom space, but there is a ton of legroom space, good features, but it is missing your own set of climate control functions and heated rear seats and an actual power outlet. But this is definitely going to be a nice, size rear seat if you guys plan to use this as your family car. So here we are back behind the wheel of the Volkswagen ID.4. It's hard to believe this vehicle has been around since basically end of 2020. And even though it looks pretty much the same on the outside, underneath the skin, Volkswagen has seriously updated this vehicle, and they've made it significantly better versus when the first model came out. Now, first of all, we are driving the ID.4 Pro S rear-wheel drive, which means we have the upgraded AP550 rear electric motor that now delivers up to 282 horsepower and 402 pound-feet of torque. That's nearly twice the torque of the base powertrain, or the one that was in the refreshed version of the ID.4. You can still get that base powertrain with only 201 horsepower with its smaller 58 kilowatt-hour battery pack. We have the bigger 82 kilowatt, which 77 is about usable. Volkswagen says they've updated the chemistry as well to improve the range. We're at a 99% state of charge. It's showing 289 miles of range on a full charge. Now, Volkswagen says this model should get to 60 in just under 6 seconds, which is a 2-second improvement over the old 201 horsepower version. So let's go ahead and try and see what we can get here 0 to 60 wise. Floored, and it feels really strong off the line. 5.64 seconds there. 5.64 is basically as fast as the as the all-wheel drive version of a 2023 model, which, remember, that had 295 horsepower. It doesn't surprise me because this has basically more torque and almost the same horsepower. And even though it's rear-wheel drive, it puts the power down well. You can see it's slightly damp outside here during my testing right now, but the vehicle puts the power down extremely well. It just has instantaneous thrust. It doesn't feel laggy and slow off the line anymore. It seems like VW has seriously just made the power available instantly when your foot goes right to the floor. It feels actually really fast off the line. So I'm genuinely shocked at how peppy and quick this car actually feels now, even with this baser powertrain. Again, roads are slightly damp, but it's still putting the power down. Wow. Impressive. 5.95 seconds there. That's with it more going slightly uphill. 5.6 is the quickest time we'll take, and I'm very shocked. I mean, that basically keeps pace with something like a Toyota RAV4 Prime. It also will be faster than most of its single motor rear-wheel drive competitors as well. It's faster versus a Toyota BZ4X in either rear or either front or all-wheel drive, or a Subaru Solterra. Really, you're going to be looking at like a Ford Mustang Mach-E or a Tesla Model Y. That's going to be slightly faster, but for a base powertrain, 5.6 is excellent, and I believe if you guys go for the all-wheel drive version, that'll do it in under 5 seconds. So VW, fantastic job, and I'm kind of proud of them because this motor, is a brand new in-house developed motor. It's going to be going into the Volkswagen ID.buzz as well. The ID.buzz is likely going to be around 500 pounds heavier than this car. So even if you guys go for the base powertrain in the Buzz, it should deliver 0 to 60 in the maybe it's low 7-second range. I'd probably still go for all-wheel drive in the Buzz, but because it has no gears, obviously, anytime my foot goes down to the floor, it just pushes me hard in the seat, which is fantastic. The sad thing about the ID.4 is if you're thinking this acceleration, which, by the way, this acceleration could smoke a Volkswagen GTI, it doesn't quite have the handling dynamics of a GTI. The steering is very light and numb. The suspension is soft, even though we're on these 20-inch wheels. We do have a staggered set of tires. A 255 wide tire helps to put that power down, but this car, I really thought that VW could have made this thing, almost like a GTI, an electric GTI SUV, but that's sadly not the case. They've definitely gone for more of a comfort-oriented theme here. Even with the roads are damp, I put my foot down. The traction control does such a great job of mitigating that power to keep this SUV going straight and not from going sideways. So fun, not necessarily. This is where, again, VW could have done like a GTX version of this car. They offer that in other markets in the ID.5, but I just would like to add them, or see them add some pizzazz, some like sportiness to this vehicle. I mean, as a comfort-oriented electric SUV, this thing is really easy to drive. It's quiet, it's smooth, it's built extremely solidly. There's not a single squeak or rattle that I'm hearing in this interior as I go down the road, and I've had it for a week. It's really been a solid feel. Visibility is also pretty good out of the front, the side, the rear. This has the latest version of Volkswagen's IQ Drive driver assistance technology with their, semi-autonomous lane keep assist and adaptive cruise control and braking. The road's a little wet there. You can feel the traction control kind of kicking in, but man, this thing just has so much power. I'm just shocked. I mean, skip the base version, at least go for a Pro. It's really worth the extra $5,000 for the increase in range, increase in power. This is gonna have enough power for most people. It just doesn't have much of a soul. It has quick acceleration, it's smooth, it's quiet, it's easy to drive. The steering is light, numb, devoid of feel. The suspension stays pretty soft as you go around these corners here. And the seats, they're also really comfortable. I actually really love these seats. The padding material is nice and plush. It doesn't have much in terms of bolstering to hold you in place in aggressive driving. This vehicle also has a regen braking mode. When I have it in B, it actually will slow the vehicle down a decent amount, but VW does not offer a true one-pedal drive, which this mode in B, I think, is probably a good amount of regen to where if you hate one-pedal drive, you wouldn't mind leaving it in this mode as well. So that's really good. Not much in terms of wind noise either. This thing is very aerodynamic, and it kind of shows. I mean, it is a really easy car to live with on a daily basis, so it doesn't surprise me that this remains one of the best-selling electric SUVs you're going to find in this segment. Now, in terms of the real-world range, at most on a full charge, this thing was showing me around 310 miles. That's with when the temperature was a little bit warmer and I had it at a full charge. When I actually went and used it on a full day and drove it down on a longer road trip, the best that I was able to do in real-world testing was around 280 miles of range, which is actually pretty darn good. Now, sadly, the ID.4 does not crest the 300-mile range barrier. The one that I'm driving is the most range efficient model. It also has the most range of 291 miles, but 280 in real world testing I think is actually pretty darn impressive. In the city, it'll get slightly better range. That was mostly highway when I was testing that, 280 miles, which should be good for most people. I'll be looking forward to driving this powertrain in the ID.buzz, and of course the Audi Q4 e-tron just got this powertrain as well for 2025 model year. So, it's really great to see VW listening to the criticism. I mean, the regular ID.4 when it first came out was a little bit of a disappointment. Now this has catapulted this vehicle basically to not the top of the class, but basically near the top of the class. It is really nice to drive. It offers plenty of power, good real world range, lots of comfort, great technology. This new infotainment system is just worlds better versus the original one. And again, if you guys want all-wheel drive, VW will happily sell you all-wheel drive for a little bit more. But if you don't need the all-wheel traction, this rear-wheel drive version with the bigger battery pack, I think is basically all the electric SUV that most buyers are going to need. Now, with just under 38,000 units sold in America last year, the Volkswagen ID.4 was actually the third best-selling electric SUV here in America, right behind, of course, the Tesla Model Y and the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Sales were up nearly 50% for the ID.4 versus 2022, so clearly Volkswagen is doing something right. And after spending some time with the updated version, I have to say the improvements they've made underneath the skin have greatly, significantly improved this vehicle. As you guys saw, the rear-wheel drive version, even in these damp conditions, delivers incredibly quick acceleration. 0 to 60 happens in 5.6 seconds. The ride quality is among the most comfortable. The interior space is really nice in the front, the back seat, and in the cargo area. And the technology in this vehicle, that new 12.9-inch display, is also just a huge upgrade. So it's great to see Volkswagen is listening to the complaints from customers and, of course, from the media as well. In terms of the exterior design, this is definitely still a very inoffensive, almost like blobby vanilla SUV. So I would like to see, again, Volkswagen add a little bit of sex appeal to the ID.4 by introducing like the GTX trim level, which you can get in other markets, which would introduce a sportier edge better handling, for example. Make this thing feel like more the GTI of SUVs. It already has the acceleration to smoke a GTI. It just needs the handling and the look to kind of back that up to appeal to a more enthusiastic crowd. VW could easily get GTI owners to trade in their GTIs to go to this vehicle as long as they made this car sportier. In terms of availability, these are already at your local dealerships. The range in the car is also pretty good nowadays. 280 miles, I think, is going to be sufficient for most people. Keep in mind, if you guys go for all-wheel drive, it's going to reduce the range by about 30 miles. I haven't had a chance to actually test an all-wheel drive model in the real world, but I suspect it'll probably be pretty similar to what I got in this rear drive model, minus of course that extra 30 miles that's what the EPA is claiming. Now in terms of pricing, the ID.4 has also been able to stay pretty much in line with most of its competitors. You can still go into a base version with rear wheel drive with that 201 horsepower powertrain for under 40 grand, about 39,735. I would skip that. I would spend the extra 5 grand and go to the Pro versions to get the bigger battery pack, the increase in power, the larger infotainment display, the additional equipment. That's going to start at around $44,700. If you guys want to go to the Pro S that I'm showing you here with some of the upgrades like the panoramic sunroof, it's going to cost you at least $49,995, so an extra 4 grand or 5 grand on top of that. If you guys want all-wheel drive, Volkswagen charges another 4 grand extra to give you the extra motor at the front, a little bit more power as well. If you don't need the all-weather traction, this rear-wheel drive model should suffice. It also gets better range, all in with options like my test car shown here. The price comes in at $51,430. $51,000 is definitely a pretty good amount of money. However, keep in mind these vehicles continue to be built in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which means they do qualify for the full $7,500 federal tax credit, which will help to bring the price down. Again, in terms of pricing, this is going to be right in line with competitors like the Mustang Mach-E, the Hyundai and Kia twins, of course, the Toyota BZ4X and the Subaru Solterra, for example. And of course, there's the Chevrolet Equinox EV, which I would view this as probably the next main rival. I suspect Chevy's going to probably overtake this vehicle and the Mach-E once they ramp up production of the Equinox EV, although I haven't had a chance to test one out for a full week. But I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised with the ID.4. This refresh that they've given it, while the outside is still a little bit boring, internally it is much improved, and it definitely should still make it to the very top of your list if you guys are looking for an all-electric mainstream SUV and you don't want to have that Tesla that you constantly see driving around on your local roads. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the brand new 2024 Volkswagen ID.4. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.